Next topic is um what are we doing during this pandemic for self-care, and how has our mental space been, and financials?
Amazing.
Who said amazing?
Me, I said it's been amazing.
Who is that, Sleep?
Read this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
did.
last
It's been,
message.
Sleeves
The
look
last
like
message.
he been in the gym.
yeah,
But that's
it's
an
been
emoji
amazing.
This
Uh
is an emoji now. I can't.
oh, I thought she said I'm an emoji. I'm about to say, but the disrespect.
So, so Carrie, what have you been doing during this pandemic for
Yeah.
self-care, and how's your mental?
I've been cycling a lot and doing yoga.
What's
Mm.
cycling?
So,
Oh, you mean riding bikes?
hmm
Oh, nice,
so,
nice.
so
How many miles? How many miles?
You when I try to do at least 20 when I ride,
Damn.
at least.
Oh
I'm
wow.
working up
Damn.
to the 40s. I'm more about 30s now, I guess. So I'm
Yeah,
trying to get
wow.
up to 40s now and
30 miles
do
a
a
day?
50 and yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Woo. How many
Kudos.
days a week?
Well, maybe like two.
Okay,
Maybe
okay,
like two. I
okay.
try to get it in on the weekends.
Okay,
It's kind
okay.
of tough to do it during the week now that it's darker earlier. But
Yeah.
once it starts to be lighter out, I'll definitely be out later.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I'll start doing that more often. I used to do like 100 miles a week.
Damn.
Oh wow.
That was fun.
Has anybody's has anybody's mental got down during this pandemic?
Mine has.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mom did that at one point.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
yeah, I would say
Mine has.
not working at one point, but I lost my brother right before the year started, so that kind of like, I mean, it's being in the crib and not really having nothing to do, started to think about shit. So yeah, I
Mhm.
wouldn't really blame it on the pandemic though, but that shit kind of amplified a lot of shit.
We had
I
a
feel,
lot
I
of
feel like the
wild shit came
pandemic. I
out.
feel like the pandemic slowed down life. You know what I mean? It made you think a lot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, because if it was regular New
I,
York, you just going. You know what I'm saying? You're going 100 every day. So
Yeah. This pandemic, and I'm gonna get a little bit personal. This pandemic has actually showed me that my mental health is not okay because I've been going, and working nonstop. I don't ever check in with myself.
mm,
So once everything stopped, now I realize I have old wounds I never healed before. And I have issues with my mom that I never even addressed before. Like little things that I've never even thought about because my day to day has been so busy.
hmm
It's been addressed for during the pandemic. And now it's like
Well,
I'm
that's
trying
good.
to build the pieces back together and trying to like kind of like heal these wounds with A&D ointment and heal them properly instead of masking them with gauze.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's been really like a breakdown season, and now I'm rebuilding myself out properly, if that makes sense. So yeah, my mental health has been like really, it's been challenged for the pandemic.
uh, mine's been great, but I was able to figure out a lot of things, a lot
Mhm.
during this pandemic. I had a lot of troubles, and you see, this pandemic showed you everything. You saw everybody for who they are.
Right,
So it's been amazing.
right.
Um.
And
Hey Taj. Hey Tia. We're basically talking about mental space breakdowns during this pandemic, self care. How have you tried to cope? You know, for me, like just always being in a good space, like financially, and then like once this pandemic come and it's like everything is to a screeching halt, it kind of like makes you really contemplate everything. Like is that even a word? Recontemplate. Contemplate everything. Like you got to get your entrepreneur side up
Yeah.
because
Oh
you know,
yeah.
worrying about a check from a boss. This may not be the last made up pandemic that they force upon us. So you got to be, yeah, I said it. You got to be prepared for whatever comes in the years to come, and so you got to get your
Mhm.
hustle on.
Yeah.
You got to. You can't just
And as far as self-care goes, what I did was I started to learn like different dishes. I started to cook more.
Mhm.
Something that I would never ever do because I was always on the go. So I started to cook more and started to like, get my little stuff in order and start actually making full on meals instead of like
Mm.
1, 2, 3 things. So that's one thing. And then I learned how to make um facial, like facials, give myself facials and stuff as part of self-care.
Taj, we talking about has your mental level got low during this pandemic?
Yes, it has, but it wasn't because of the pandemic. It was more because I had a health issue that I found out about last year. But I don't know. I didn't stay in that place either. But I think kind of like she was saying, like, how you always busy, you kind of push everything to the side. And I haven't stopped moving. Like I've been working the whole entire pandemic. So I don't I'm still nothing's really changed for me except for, just a little bit of home stuff, like my daughter being at home. But other than that, like I didn't really have much change. So I've still been doing what I usually been doing. Thankfully, I guess.
Tia?
I learned that, for this year moving forward to create more regimens and be more disciplined in the regimens that I, set forth for myself. I think I've seen a lot more death than I would have liked to last year, working in the field. So, I'm hoping that, that changes. But self-care, it was more or less, same thing most of the girls did, facials. You start to look more into your body, look more into your health, and just start to make the necessary changes so that, we were all at a point by the end of the year, like next year I'm going to the gym, next year I'm eating right, next year I'm not doing this and I do so, hopefully, like you said, the fake shutdown doesn't happen again where, things are limited, because I think that us lacking a lot of social interaction is what really took a toll on people's mental health too, because people just couldn't just cope with Zoom. I mean, my patients don't even really cope really well with it. Now you have families going and, doing different strides with different video programs and stuff throughout the facilities and stuff to help, people cope with just kind of being alone. A lot of people don't like to be by themselves, especially in these situations.
Mm.
What was kind of funny about this pandemic at the beginning? A lot of introverts were online, bragging, talking shit like, "Oh, this is what we used to. Oh, we good." And then, like a month later, they was all sick. Like, just because you can do something, don't look down on people because they was all talking. Oh, this is what we do. Y'all in trouble. A month later, I don't know what to do. I'm about to kill myself. And it's nothing funny about suicide, but just don't be looking down on people because you think you got it made. You think it's an ideal situation. Ain't nobody ever deal with this before. So I don't know why people just thought like everything was gonna be easy breezy.
Well,
Humble.
as for me, I got back on my spiritual shit a little bit. I kind of fell off. Like after my brother died, I fell off for a couple months, and then, like not like leading into the whole pandemic shit, for like the first couple months. And I wouldn't say it was the pandemic because I'm kind of used to being to myself. But it was like I moved to Florida, so I was in a whole new environment, and it was just a lot more inventory that I had to do for myself, And I wouldn't say stuff that I didn't realize, but it was just a little. I just needed to go a little bit deeper. And then it was just like, it was just so much. And I didn't want to meditate. I was just like, yo, I'm not doing this. I'm too tired. I slept a lot. And then I guess I needed that reset. I needed that because it was just like one day I woke up and I would say maybe it was probably like June or July. And I just felt it again. It was like, all right, cool. I need to get up. I need to change the color of my room, make my room brighter. I need to go build my altar. Got to get my candles. You know what I'm saying? Got to get my sage. Got to get this. Got to get that. And it was just like I needed to go through that, whatever I was going through, and it was rough. It wasn't an easy thing to go through because I was like completely out of it. But I did focus on working out, but working out didn't take my mind off of anything that I needed to do, any inventory that I need to do. Working out was not helping. So I feel like I just needed to go through that. And then it was just like one morning I woke up and it was just like, yo, get back on your shit. Like, get back to your meditating, get your altar together. You know what I'm saying? Brighten up your room. And then since then, it's just been like regular spiritual shit up and down. But I think just that halt of everything, like everybody kind of like slowing down and me going to Florida, it was much needed inventory that I had to do. So it was cool, I guess. It was rough, but it was cool at the same time.
Ramel?
What part of Florida are you in?
I'm actually in like Kissimmee right now, in the Kissimmee area.
Mm-hmm. I'm in Kissimmee. That's dope. I'm visiting my parents down here.
Oh, really? How you like it? Kissimmee's nice.
I hate it. That's why I left. I came down here for a few years and I got out. I was out.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Florida is not the shits. I'm not with the shits.
What's wrong?
Florida's not it.
I think she probably just needs to go to South Florida.
So I was not expecting her to say I hate
No,
it.
Orlando.
It wasn't
Florida's not
either.
it.
Orlando's pretty dope though. Like Orlando's pretty nice, man. There's always something going on. I mean, I don't go out much anyway, but I don't care because I was just done with New York. So right now I'm on chill mode. Like the vibe and the energy down here for me is
I ain't gonna lie.
Enjoy.
I do want to go back to I do want to go back to Orlando to that vacation shit that we had went to.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I don't miss New York at all.
Ain't nothing here.
0%.
Yeah, I don't miss New York either.
You said Ramel.
Yeah, I did. Excuse me. Ramel.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, for me, I got to learn who I could trust, who is a real friend and who's not a real friend. And as part of it was also business wise too. I remember I used to work for a company where the boss you just a number to him. And when I started working in another location where the boss treated me like, I actually knew my worth. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I wasn't working. Like December, I wasn't working because I was injured. So I didn't have any money going in. The only good thing is that I saved. So I didn't have any money coming in. So my boss explained to me like, Ramel, you don't have nothing to worry about. You still have your job. Matter of fact, I'll still give you a check. As long as you call and check in on the team and make sure you're good, I'll still give you a check. Not too many people will say, listen, I'll give you money for doing nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing. So that's when I realized, and he also sit down with me and say, listen, I know, Ramel, you want to open up your own restaurant. You come to me with a business plan and I'll help you out, which I did. And I mean, everything is coming like I want it to be. So you get to know who you could trust and who wants you to do better in life. Not too many people like that in this world that care about you, especially during a pandemic where there's no money coming in. So I actually respect that guy, and that's pretty much it. So
Midnight.
For me, it made me, because I used to be like a big procrastinator. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna do this next week, I'm gonna do this next month, I'm gonna do this next year, I'm gonna do this, whatever, then never do it. This pandemic taught me to stop doing that shit. So like it just made me realize that I just need to put forth towards my goals and just, really do what I want to do in life. You know what I mean? I just want to leave my stamp before I leave this earth, and I need to stop wasting time. I want to get older.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we're gonna leave it right there. I don't know how many